The Champions League. Of course, I know that Benfica was in action against Juventus and they recorded all 3 points on that occasion. Thomas.
Yes, I promise. Yeah, indeed. Benfica was under huge pressure. They knew if they lose the game in Turin, they would probably be eliminated. And yeah, they played a really, really strong game. Great counter-attacking football. And yeah, it was a deserved victory. And it came a little bit as a surprise because there is a small kind of crisis going on in the Benfica management. And also the head coach, Bruno Lage, criticized the board before the game. So there is a bit of turmoil in the club. So I think yesterday's victory was very important to at least calm also the media and the fans a little bit down. And now they're in the playoffs.
Okay, I continue with you, Thomas. Manchester City were on the brink of elimination last night, and against Club Brugge, they were expected to win that game anyways, but at some point they were 1 goal down and had to come back to win the game 3-1. I mean, despite the fact that they have been able to qualify to the playoffs, do you think City are convincing enough to go the distance in the Champions League?
Yeah, it's a good question. I personally think if you read this victory could give them a big boost. However, now it's, you know, the opponents they will face will either be Bayern or Real. So it's going to be huge games in the playoffs for them. But however, I do repeat what I said last week. I think City is slowly managing its way out of the crisis. So I think you can never really rule them out until they are really eliminated. So I think they will definitely compete against both Bayern and Real. But yeah, it's going to be 50-50 games, I'd say.
Well, Max, how surprising it is for you to see top Champions League teams like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid are failing to qualify automatically for the Champions League, but having to go through the back doors of, playing the playoffs to get into the round of 16.
Yes, exactly. I mean, as Thomas said, we have in the playoffs a game like Manchester City either against Real or Bayern Munich. So this will be a great game. And one of these 3 great clubs will be out before of the round of 16. So this is surprising for me, especially how City was playing. But as Thomas already said, they are improving and they are there now. They are there for this important match against Real or Bayern. And for Bayern, it's very, very dangerous, I would say. I mean, yesterday they won, but only 3-1 against Bratislava. The coach was criticized a lot because Musiala was on the bench, Coman was on the bench in the beginning. And a higher victory was necessary, but they only won 3-1. And now they have maybe a difficult match against City. We will see it on Friday when there's a draw. Yeah, I was surprised by these 3 teams, but I was, on the other hand, also surprised by little teams like Lille or so-called little teams as Aston Villa. They are easy in the next round. Yeah, but I was surprised by PSG, City and Bayern and Real. And in the last games also of Dortmund, because they were so close to the top 8, and then they played not that good the last 2 matches. Yesterday they won, but they are also not on the first 8. So yeah, it was a bit surprising, but now everyone is looking forward for this great game, maybe of Bayern Munich against City. We will see it on Friday at the draw.
All right, Thomas, right on the screen now is a confirmation of the top 8 teams that have qualified automatically for the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League. Liverpool, they won all first 7 games. They lost yesterday, certainly because Liverpool played some little boys from the academy. They lost against Feyenoord 3-2. Barcelona are finishing in 2nd, Arsenal in 3rd, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Lille Metropole, and Aston Villa. Now, we saw Liverpool, losing their first game, Thomas, yesterday, and they actually deserved or reserve the right, to play any kind of player that they, feel was good enough to.
Or 3 months ago. So let's see.
Okay, Max, you take a look at the top 8 teams. You find 3 Premier League teams in there, 3 teams from the English Premier League. Does that confirm suggestions that the Premier League is the toughest and the biggest league in Europe?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's easy to say after 3 teams are on the top 8. But I think you're a bit wide. I mean, Liverpool was very dominant in all the games. They are on the first place, and they are for me the clear favorite now to winning the title, maybe. And yeah, Aston Villa was also good. Arsenal was very strong. Yeah, overall a bit better than especially the German teams. Today in the evening, I will see the president of Bayern Munich, and I will speak with him also about this. And yeah, for Bayern Munich, it was not enough. It's not what they want. You know, they lost 3-0 against Feyenoord. This is not a Bayern Munich what the fans want to see in the Champions League. And yeah, Premier League was clear better than the Bundesliga. I mean, Spain was okay. Barca was very strong, stronger than expected. Real is Real, you know, as long as the tournament is, as stronger they are. And Atletico was also good. So yeah, it was that like the most fans or experts would say before, Spain and England, they have the strongest teams. And yeah, but it's not over. Everything is possible now.
All right, let's take a look at the other teams that made it to the playoffs. We just saw the top 8 teams, which are Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, Inter Milan. Inter Milan being the only Italian team to have qualified automatically. Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Lille Metropole, and Aston Villa. And these are the first set of teams that would play in the playoffs. Atalanta, Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Milan, PSV Eindhoven, PSG, and Benfica. Let's take a look at the other set of playoff teams. That's teams that are ranked from... Okay, these are the teams that ranked from 9 to 18. Now, from teams from 19 to 24. That's the confirmation on your screen now. We've got Monaco, Brest, Feyenoord, Juventus, Celtic, Manchester City, surprisingly, really finishing in a very, very poor position after 8 rounds of games. They finished number 22 on the table. Sporting Lisbon and Club Brugge. Thomas, what sort of playoffs are you looking forward to? These playoffs, I mean, they promise to be very, very crunchy and difficult games because we've got traditional Champions League teams competing in the playoffs this time around.
Yeah, indeed. And Max already mentioned it. Like, we have really, really crunchy games. I think I'm particularly excited to see, Bayern or Real against City. That's like a really, really big clash. I'm also quite curious, of course, to how the Portuguese teams will do. Both of them are in the playoffs, and they probably have very exciting opponents as well. I think we'll have to wait for the draw tomorrow to really see who will be playing against who. However, we always know it's a 50% chance now who will play against who. But I think also, PSG will play a French team, so we already have a so-called national game. That's also going to be exciting, I think. So yeah, right now very difficult. I think we'll see amazing games, and probably we'll keep we'll keep seeing some surprises, I'm sure.
Absolutely, guys. All right. I'll be coming back to you guys in a bit because we've got lots of games coming up later tonight in the Europa League. Certainly, after games were concluded in the group stage in the Champions League, we'll be turning our attention to the Europa League. Well, let's take a breather now and return with a preview of the final group matches in the Europa League. All right. Guys, let's take a look at what's coming up as far as the Europa League is concerned. A number of games coming up later tonight. Crunchy games, final round of matches in the group phase of the Europa League. We've got a preview of these games, and we'll be presenting a report to you. Our report preview matches coming up later tonight in the Europa League. Max and Thomas are still very much standing by from Germany and Portugal as we do a preview of these matches.
Manchester United travelled to Romania to take on FCSB at the National Arena in their final league phase fixture on Thursday night. United are seeking to secure automatic qualification for the last 16 of the Europa League competition. The two teams will face each other for the very first time in Bucharest and are separated by only 1 point in the 36 standings. United have won by 1-0 margin in their last two matches, with 2-1 Europa League victory over Rangers last week, followed by 1-0 success at Fulham on Sunday, since Amorim labelled them worst team in the club's history. FCSB, on the other hand, have been one of the surprise packages of the Europa League this season and find themselves in contention to qualify for the last 16 for the first time since 2018.
We know that he is a strong team, can score a lot of goals from set pieces, can win difficult matches, sometimes without any so much possession. So he's a really smart team, and we have to perform well to win the game.
In one of the other games of the evening, Tottenham Hotspur will put their dismal Premier League campaign aside when they welcome Elfsborg to North London for their final league phase fixture in the Europa League on Thursday night. Spurs are gearing for the first meeting with the Swedish opposition since losing 2-1 to IK in the 1995 Intertoto Cup. Ange Postecoglou says they are ready to face the opposition.
No different to any other game, mate. It's a game we want to win, and we'll go into it with the same intent. And it's a competition we've done really well in, to be in a great position, and we want to solidify that position, finish in the top 8.
More games will be played in the evening, with Roma welcoming Frankfurt, or Siemens Galatasaray will travel to play Ajax. Anderlecht are at home to Hoffenheim. Athletic Club would play Victoria Plzen, and Dynamo Kiev will play RFS.
All right, Thomas, let me start with you. Only Lazio, Frankfurt Athletic Club, and Manchester United are guaranteed a top 8 place in the Europa League, and this confirms that the Europa League the qualification for the automatic spots is looking even tougher.
Yeah, indeed. There's only a few remaining places. However, I think those who are close to reaching the top 8, like Lyon, Tottenham, they can all make it today. So I think the other teams shouldn't put their hopes too high. But yeah, we will definitely see. I think today what's even slightly more important is who will be directly eliminated. So yeah, I think I personally think that that those who make it to the round of 16 will be among those who are already in the top 8, like the teams that I mentioned: Lyon, Tottenham, Anderlecht. I think they will most likely secure victories tonight. So I'd be surprised if we see big surprises tonight in any of these big clubs.
Okay, Max, a plethora of games coming up later tonight. Which of these matches are really catching your attention at this moment, Max?
Yeah, firstly, Roma against Eintracht Frankfurt, because Mats Hummels is playing against a German team. First time after he went from Dortmund to Italy. Very interesting. And Frankfurt is playing good football in Germany, in the Bundesliga this year, and also in the Europe League with Ekitike, a very strong forward. Very interesting match. And Frankfurt is already in the next round. And I'm also looking forward to Ajax against Galatasaray. Galatasaray with Victor Osimhen, of course. Ajax, a very old traditional good club of Netherlands. Yeah, these two matches, very, very interesting tonight.
Okay, Thomas, before we close this segment on the show, you are in Portugal. What's the conversation around the fact that FC Porto and SC Braga are doing so poorly in the Europa League? FC Porto, former Champions League champions in 2004, struggling to make a playoff spot in the Europa League.
Yeah, indeed. As you mentioned, it's a big topic because Portuguese teams usually do quite well, particularly in the Europa League. And Porto and Braga are currently, as it stands now, they are eliminated. So they both need a victory tonight. Porto will play in Israel. They also don't have the best season so far. They have a recent coach change as well. But yeah, they really need to win. And Braga as well is under big pressure. And they're playing against Lazio, who is top of the league. So not an easy game. However, the fact that Lazio is already qualified could maybe be beneficial for them, as we saw with Eindhoven beating Liverpool. So yeah, but huge pressure on the Portuguese teams. Let's see if they're up for it.
Okay, Thomas, coaching hands, thank you so much for your time. Max Lutgenso, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Thank you.
Yeah. Greetings to
Thank
Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Greetings.
Thank you, guys. All right, that was Max Lutgenso live on the show from Germany, and Thomas Coaching Hands live on the program from Lisbon, Portugal. Moving on the program today, Victor Boniface's proposed move from Bayer Leverkusen to the Saudi Arabian League has collapsed. That move has collapsed because the Saudi Arabian club have, despite advanced negotiations, Al Nassr ultimately decided against finalizing the deal. Instead, the Saudi Pro League side opted 25 billion naira annually. But the Saudi Arabian club are opting for a certain Colombian player who plays with Aston Villa.
Good afternoon, Promise. Apparently, I was talking to one of Boniface's representative yesterday, and he told me that Al Nassr has actually been in contact with Boniface since December, and but they kept it away from the media because they wanted to announce his signing in January. So, but discussion had already been going on in December, and he had opted to go for the move. And it was a big thing towards the beginning of this week when everybody saw that the deal had been agreed. 60 million transfer fee to Leverkusen, which is 3 times what they paid for him to German club Union St. Gillois. He's going to get 15 million. He was supposed to get 15 million euros a year, which is 7 times what he's currently getting in Leverkusen. And also his former club was going to make 5 million euros. So it was a deal that was going to be good for all parties involved. But it was shocking last night when, after the Champions League game, when Aston Villa announced that an agreement had been reached with Al Nassr for the sale of Joan Duran to Al Nassr. It's a bit disappointing for the player, but that is football. We've had a lot of deals that even when the player is just about to sign and get his unveiling done, there will be 1 or 2 things that will probably go wrong and the deal would not go through. But in this case, it was a case of them wanting maybe, I think, a younger player who is a target man. When you look at the stats, Victor is 24. Victor has had 8 goals and 1 assist in 15 games this season. That is a goal ratio of 1 in 117 minutes. But when you look at John Duran, he's 21 and is a target man, he's a striker. He scored 12 goals, he's had no assist. But he scored 12 goals in 29 games, and most of those goals he has scored are from coming in from the bench 15 minutes to go. So that's a goal ratio of 87, 1 goal in 87 minutes. So he's got a better goal ratio than Victor Boniface, and he's 3 years younger. And apart from that, also he's got a better resale value than Victor Boniface. So let's say, for example, he spends 2 years in Saudi Arabia, it doesn't go well with him. They can also sell him and make and recoup part of the transfer fee they paid. So they are paying 77 million, which is 17 million more than they were going to pay for Victor Boniface. So I think the main reason would probably be because they see there's the fact that he has a better resale value and is more a target man. And they need a target man. They've been struggling with goals. You know, they've got Mane, they've got Cristiano Ronaldo playing from the wings, but they need someone that can put the ball inside the net. And Victor, I would say, is not a target man. He's more like an all-round attacker, but he's not a target striker. And I guess that was one of the reasons they pulled out from the deal.
From your submission, it is apparent that Al Nassr's decision is a business decision. But we saw something similar happen with Victor Osimhen when Al Hilal showed interest in his services. The player was interested to go to Saudi Arabia, and in the very, very last moment, they pulled out.
I think in the case of Victor Osimhen, what I wasn't close. Just advise Victor Boniface to just continue his career in Germany and wait for the summer. The summer is just 4 months away, and we'll see what would happen again in the summer.
Absolutely. Good luck to Victor Boniface in the future as regards his transfer. We were told he's already packed his bag and was ready to move. But again, like you mentioned, there will always be light at the end of the tunnel. Busola, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Promise. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. And that will be the size of the program. It's been Sports Desk. Many thanks for watching. We'll do this again same time tomorrow. Until then, I remain Promise Afoge. Bye-bye now.